Get ready for sports news and entertainment. All right here, your 7 minutes with Simmons starts right now.
Offer sheets flying all over the place like a busy office. Welcome back, guys. Episode number 34 of 7 Minutes with Simmons. I'm your host, Christian Simmons. And today, we're going to try and actually hit the 7 minute. We're going to try and hit the 7 minute target today. I got to give Lane a big shout out here. He commented on my episode yesterday and he said something like, at this point, it's just with Simmons because my last two episodes have been wildly outside of the 7 minute parameter. And I appreciate that comment. Today, we're going to try and nail it. Look at that. We're already a minute in and I'm wasting time. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back. Had a chance last night to watch a fantastic lacrosse game. I don't know if anybody listening to this pod is a lacrosse fan. If you are, be sure to check out the OJLL and the St. Catharines Athletics as they continue to push towards the playoffs. The Minto Cup, of course, the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League's massive championship is making a home here in St. Catharines this year. So that's really exciting. I've been doing a little bit of camera opping with Kojiko, and last night had a chance to watch a fantastic game, a tight one between the Oakville Buzz and the Athletics. I was watching it through the lens of a camera, and I'll tell you this right now. For anybody who does professional lacrosse camera operation, you either have like 20/20 vision, or you wear the biggest glasses I've ever seen, or you have some kind of retinal skill set that most individuals don't. Like, this ball is so hard to track, guys. Like, it goes left, right, off the glass, bouncing off the turf, hitting a post, and all of a sudden it's down. It goes from one end of the floor to the other at extreme speed. So hard to track, but that's what makes it such a fun game to watch. Like, there's chaos, and I love it. And speaking of chaos, this free agency period in the NHL has been about as close to chaos as you can get. And we're going to break down some of the winners, some of the losers. We talked a little bit yesterday about the Mitch Marner deal. He's going to Vegas. That's fantastic for him. Fantastic for Vegas. They're one of the winners. Toronto most likely being one of the losers so far. But we're going to take a look at some of the NHL free agency's winners. And I think it starts with your Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers. I mean, all they do is win. Like, how do they manage to do this? I mean, I know how they manage to do this. It makes complete sense. They're in a market where they have, I believe it's no income tax or very low income tax on these players. They get to keep the majority of their salaries. They're also a team that has now won back-to-back Stanley Cups. Players want to stay there. They're going to take haircuts. It makes sense. They managed to keep all three of their big UFAs, Bennett, Ekblad, and Brad Marchand, all kept in the fold when it seemed likely that at least one of them were a good bet to test the open market. Like, anybody who's upset about that Marchand deal, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a stretch. I mean, 6-year pact. The guy's going to be 43 years old. He's making $6 million for definitely a pretty decent stretch there where he's most likely going to see a decline in his game. But I think he's going to be a good player for at least half of that contract, and Florida could conceivably hang a couple more banners in that time. Like, big time winners, the Florida Panthers. They did it right, man. They could really carve out a unique place for themselves in history, the NHL history, that is, if they continue to make the right decisions. They continue to attract talent. They continue to take care of the salary cap. There's a lot of good things happening in Florida. Vegas is number 2 on my list. They find a way to get Marner. It's rare to see a team getting a player like Marner and not having to sacrifice the other stuff that they were looking to hold on to. They didn't have to get rid of Thomas Hertl, William Karlsson, as well as, some speculated the club might have to get rid of both of them. And they found a way to, kind of thread the needle. They managed to fill all the gaps, and they did it in a way that, didn't leave any significant holes in their roster. And I think it's it's huge for them. I mean, since the start of 2020, if you want to specifically talk about the value Marner brings to the table, only 7 players have posted more points than the 517 put up by Marner. He is a big-time asset, a huge contributor on the wings, and that's exactly what they were looking for in this free agency period, and I think they absolutely hit the nail on the head with that. Alex Pietrangelo is likely done playing hockey. That hits pretty hard. I think that's something that kind of allowed them to bring Marner into the fold. Vegas had to put him on LTIR. That gives them the room, Marner coming in to hopefully help them deal with that, help them balance, help them kind of recoup some of that loss. I think Alex Pietrangelo it's really sad to see he's probably not coming back, but Vegas, regardless, definitely big winners in the free agency period. And then quickly, the Vancouver Canucks, before we run out of time, the biggest shock of the day, surely. Brock Besser re-signing in Vancouver on a 7-year deal that carries a 7.25 AAV. Now, the relationship seemed to be done from both sides countless times throughout the season, so it's crazy to see that it worked out so great. I think Besser obviously wanted to stay, and it was hard to imagine there were going to be better scoring options out there for the Vancouver Canucks. And throw in the extensions for Garland and Thatcher Demko. Patrick Alvin had a day, man. He had a couple of days, found a way to get it done. Those are my 3 big winners. You got Vancouver, you got Vegas, and of course, at the top, where they belong and where they might stay, not the Vegas Golden Knights. Hopefully, Vegas could be there, though. You know what? They got a good team. They're starting to round out. But Florida, baby, continues to win on the ice and off. That's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was episode 34 of 7 Minutes with Simmons. We'll see you next time. Peace.